Oh, there's a wasp hanging around us.
Where?
By your back. Wait, 2 of them.
Okay, go. I need to go. I need to go. I hate wasps.
Tom's really scared of wasps. They're gone, by the way.
Okay.
We're Tom and Autumn. At the beginning of this year, we quit our jobs to work on our street food business full time. And when we weren't working during the summer, planned to travel the world. We bought our tickets to India, packed up our house, and then I think we all know what happened next. With the repeated lockdown and the virus spreading across the world, we started to get the idea that we wouldn't be able to go anywhere soon and decided to use our savings to buy a little house that needed a lot of work instead. This is our Victorian renovation story. Morning, back at the house, bright and early today, and oof, we have been blessed. The sun is out, extremely out. It's due to be a very, very warm day, and we thought, what better day to get cracking on painting the back of this. Now the dawn was up and pretty ready to go. We're thinking to paint all of this house before the scaffolding goes, because we're certainly going to need that for the help. This is going to become an extension, so we don't need to paint this, but all of this bit here and the entire side. So that is on the agenda today. But first, like I planned to do yesterday, we've got to get started on the insulation. So, I know I've taken you through this already, but we're so proud of our handiwork. Right, the plywood's up, plasterboard's up. Now we have to climb to the loft. Haven't had any work to do up here in a while, or ever. The builders have done everything. But this is where we step in. So basically the goal up here is in all of these different slats, in between all of these timbers. This, well, they're actually massive sheets, but this is insulation. And insulation has to go in between them. There can be no space. It's got to be super compact to stop the cold from getting in, I think. So effectively, again, not the correct size, we want to cut this into long, thin strips so that they can fit into these bits here. Okay, apprentice, your first test of the day. Please explain to the camera. Obviously, I already know all of this, 100%. Yeah. But just explain to the camera what insulation is and what are the rules. Yeah,
so what is it then? Because I've forgotten.
It keeps stuff warm, keeps the cold out and keeps the heat in.
So for building regs, for a loft conversion, what you need to do is, first of all, we've got 150mm joist. There's going to be a 50mm air gap to make the roof breathe, and you put 100mm in between the joist of this stuff. So you just kind of like measure it a little bit over, then you like just wedge it in so it's completely flush with the bottom of the joist. So where you've got the joist are, you've also got to take into account 37.5mm underneath. That's 25mm of insulation and 12.5mm of plasterboard. You usually can buy, instead of just buying plasterboard and insulation, you can kind of get a 2-in-1 where it's already stuck together, and obviously you need to drill the holes in where you want your lights as well. But we'll do that later down the line.
Okay, so cutting insulation. Tom is currently measuring the distance between all of these. We think they're about 36.5?
36, yeah.
Perfect, yeah. So there's 40 center joists, but obviously the insulation will only fit in between the joists. That is 36.5 centimeters. We're just triple checking to make sure every single joist is 36.5 centimeters at the end, in the middle, and the other end. This just makes sure that before we go crazy, just chopping 36.5 down every single bit of insulation we have, we know that there's no discrepancies and it's all going to fit perfectly. So that's job one. sun, no bueno. And third time lucky.
Oh, this mask is dusty. Cool, that's in.
One done. How many? 50,000 to go. And that's what we've done so far. After a lot of cutting and recutting, that's what we've got so far. And no surprise, we're absolutely filthy, but it's midday, the sun is out, and we're gonna go paint outside. So, painting. The goal here is to turn this peach wall to white, but as you can see, the rendering could be in better condition. So painting in between all of these cracks is not gonna be a fun job, but it's gotta be done and it's a perfect day to do it. We'll probably have one of us brushing the wall while the other one follows where they've been and painted over. For the job, we've got one set of exterior masonry painting kit. So I think you need special brushes and rollers for outdoor paint, or outdoor surfaces rather. A couple of paint trays, another roller. The roller kits come with paint brushes as well. And then we have one extendable one for the areas we won't be able to reach. Tom?
Yeah.
Shotgun painting.
Instead of what?
Brushing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can you see the tiniest bit of white starting to shine through? Well, that's what we've done so far. Health and safety officers do not come for us. Right, on to the next bit. Admittedly, the aftershot's not as satisfying as I thought it was going to be. The rendering around the window is pretty horrendous and we've got a lot of deep grooves in there, so we're probably going to have to cement or render a little bit before we do a second coat. A lot more promising down here, although you can't see it as well, but yeah, super white. No cracks. Happy with that. Just need to do the windowsill black to match the windowsills of the new windows we've got all around the house. So yeah, pretty happy with that for a couple of hours work. My aim could be better, but yeah, did a good job. Bit of rendering, second coat, mwah, ready to go. The reason we didn't do the ground level is because we are doing an extension, so anything we paint's getting knocked down anyway. This area here won't be extended, but this door is getting bricked up, and this glass is getting replaced, and it's ground floor. So we don't need to do it now. We don't need a ladder, we don't need scaffolding, so we'll just get to that at a later date. Summer's coming, there'll be lots of sunny days to paint. But wrapping up outside means that we sadly have to come back inside to continue with the insulation. We were having a little trouble earlier because everything we cut was a bit too big, so we had to cut, try, cut again, put back up. So we're gonna be a little bit braver now, making the boards slightly smaller than we're measuring, so hopefully they should slot in no problem. Tom's already rushing back to work.
Itching to get this place even hotter than it currently is.
It's boiling up here. I don't know if that's a bad sign, but all right, back to work. Nice. Welcome back. Today I'm coming to you very precariously balanced on our scaffolding. We did the paintwork last week, the exterior paintwork, first coat, and it looks awful. So today we're fixing that.
Sorry, can you move?
The goal was to paint all of this white, and as you can see, the pointing's literally falling out of the wall. So we're going to repoint, and that is a fancy term for putting cement in the holes. So we're going to do that first, let the cement dry before going in with our second coat of white paint, and that should give it a far superior finish to what we've currently got, which is, it looks worse than when we started, let's put it that way. What it also means is that when we're done, we can peel off this protective layer and get our nice black windows, but yeah, got a lot to deal with first. For repointing, you want 4 parts sand to 1 part cement, and just keep adding water until you reach the desired consistency. A direct copy and paste from what Tom just told me.
And you know, I could actually be wrong about this, but it's worked so far, so.
What's on your to-do list today, Tom?
So what I'm doing today is, because I can use my height to my advantage, just be cutting all the insulation and shoving it in between the loft joists to get that really fully insulated so it's nice and warm up there.
If that didn't tell you quick enough, Tom's one of those people where his height is a personality trait.
No. By putting all the insulation in, actually we just get more space up there, because right now it's taking up so much room. So it'd be quite nice to shove it up into the ceiling, and then it'll be gone.
Okay, so first up we've got a bunch of foam that was sprayed in there when the window went in. We obviously just need to remove that so that it's flush against here and it's not blocking that at all. And then, because this has pretty big indentations, I'm going to need to cement that up to mimic the end of the brick anyway. So I'll leave the bits that aren't sticking out. Those will just be helpful. And then this, anything greater than brick level, I'll remove. And then yeah, I'm just going to start by trying to fill this in as though it's brick. And I've kind of done one. I think that's pretty much good to go. It's just that little section there I'll probably do. But yeah, it's not perfect, obviously. It's not going to be, but that's all we basically need, just fill in those gaps. Then I'll be going down the wall, just filling in, as you can see, any of these chipped bits that the paint roller won't get. And there we go. Patched up as much of that as I could. I think I've done a reasonably good job at creating fake brick corners. I guess we'll see when it's dry. How's it going, Tom?
Yeah, making good progress, as you can tell.
Any top tips for wannabe insulators?
I think being tall helps massively.
And now I'm just 1 floor above on the scaffolding, where I can get the very top of the second floor. This is the loft just here. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing here. Not as much to do. Downstairs is looking relatively good, I would say. See if I can get the same thing done up here. Resorted to other methods of applying the cement.
Does it feel good?
But again, I think we've got there. I'll let that dry and we'll give it a second coat of paint, and we'll give the entire wall a second coat of paint either later today or tomorrow. We're going to see how the drying goes first. Okay, it's a fair bit later and some of this has dried, some of it hasn't. I'm not going to be touching that because there's a bunch of areas all over this that haven't had paint in them. They're like little indentations. Not enough to need to put cement in there, but just enough that a couple of layers aren't covering it. So as you can see, I've taken to some pretty creative routes. I did this with the cement as well. Maybe I'm just not good with tools, but all I'm gonna do is effectively put a second coat on using this masonry paintbrush, same one as yesterday. It's heavy because it sucks up so much paint. And then anything that's not been covered by a second coat, I'm just getting paint on my finger and shoving it in. Is it the correct way of doing so? No. But it's the only thing that's working right now. And then there you go, that's kind of what the wall would have looked like before. And now, perfectly white. The texture's not great, and I'm willing to bet we're gonna get some issues later down the line because this is definitely not the right way of doing it, but it's all we can do at the moment, and I'm not gonna brush out all of the render and repoint the entire wall. There's just no way that's happening across 3 stories. So, give it a go now. If in a year's time it gives us trouble, we'll deal with it then. So, again, as with many things I've shown you so far, probably not the best idea to copy, but it might work, it might not. But we'll find out in due course, won't we? Until then, I'll keep doing what I'm doing.